So if you're thinking about buying a home in Arizona, you might have thought pretty hard about going down the road of a new construction. It's a great way to get a brand new home. You get to pick some of the colors, some of the design features, and even structural upgrades. However, you gotta know what you're getting into. And in this video, we're gonna talk about 7 things that you may not know are involved in that process. So stay tuned. If this is your first time on my channel and you wanna know everything there is to know about living in the Phoenix area and all the surrounding suburbs, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button, also ring the little bell for the notifications. That way you will be the first person to know about all the goings on here in the Phoenix marketplace. My name is Brian Elder, and I get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people who are exactly like you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, all of them thinking about moving to this great place. So whether you're moving in 6 days or 6 months, it does not matter. Feel free to reach out to me via a phone call, a text message, an email, or you can go down below, schedule a Zoom call with me. That's my personal favorite, and we can help you make a smooth move here to the Phoenix area. Okay, so when we're talking about new build homes, yes, it can be exciting. You get to pick the floor plan, the exterior look of the home, some of the interior structural options, colors, design features, all that stuff, and that is great. But you gotta make sure that you do it right. And I have discovered that there's a lot of people who don't know rule number 1, and that is if you want to use a realtor in the process, they have to be with you when you very first step foot at that construction site. So that means if you go to look at a model home and you don't have your realtor with you, they will not allow you to have your own representation. I ran into that 3 times this week with clients of mine who didn't want to bother me, bless their hearts, and they didn't reach out and they went to the model homes by themselves. I got a call from them later saying, hey, we wanted to potentially look into this community, but when we talked to the sales rep, they said, we can't use a realtor because we didn't have you on our first visit. So make sure that you contact your realtor and go with them on your very first visit. After that, you can go back on your own and it's totally fine, but we have to be with you in order to get you registered with the builder. So what's the big deal? Why do I need a realtor? Well, number 1, the sales reps in that office work for the builder, not you. So they are representing the interests of the builder, where we as realtors work for you as the client. So we're looking out for everything to make sure that it works out in your favor. And the second thing is the builder has already built a commission to the realtor into the price of the home. So even if you don't use a realtor, the builder is just simply gonna take that commission money that they set aside for the realtor and they're going to pocket it. That doesn't go back to you, it doesn't reduce the price of the home, it just means that they're gonna make a little bit extra on that sale. And then if you need something down the road, when something goes wrong with your new build, and trust me it will, then you don't have anybody that's gonna be in your corner trying to help you out when dealing with the builder. So again, please make sure that you reach out to a realtor, have somebody come with you on your first visit, and then you won't be stuck with that problem. And that's a pretty good segue into number 2, which is just because the home is new does not mean it's perfect. We all see these shiny, new, fancy looking model homes. We go through them, we ooh and ah at all the nice stuff in it. But when you're living in the home, you're gonna find a whole lot of things are wrong with it. Things like air conditioning issues, plumbing, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. The list of things that we've encountered over the years with clients in new build homes is lengthy. Now these homes do come with a 1-year warranty typically that they're gonna fix everything in there, so you just gotta make sure that you're getting your own independent inspection and that you're just being diligent about all the things that you discover. Because again, you're gonna find a lot of things wrong with the house after you've lived in it for a while. It's just the natural way it goes. They're not gonna be perfect when they're building these things, so just make sure that you're keeping track of everything as you go along and that you reach out to the builder when issues come up, and also keep your realtor informed as well, because we can help you make sure that those repairs get taken care of. So when you're looking into a new build community, you typically have 2 ways you can go. Number 1 is you can build the home from scratch. That means that you get to pick the lot, you get to pick the floor plan, you get to pick all the structural upgrades, the colors. That's what most people are thinking of when they think about a new build community. And that's a great way to go. Now that can take a lot longer to get into a home, so if time isn't a pressing issue for you, it's a great option because you get to basically choose the home that you want and get everything as you would design it. The second option is that you purchase a quick move-in, a spec home, or an inventory home. They're all the same thing. It's basically a home that the builder has already picked out the floor plan on a designated lot. They've chosen a lot of the colors, a lot of the upgrades, so everything is pretty much already known up front. And the nice thing is you already know the pricing, so you don't have to figure in all these upgrade charges and other things like lot premiums, which we're going to get to in a second. And that way you really kind of know ahead of time what you're getting into. Also, you can get in a lot faster. So sometimes if you find a spec home that's already going to be under construction, if your timeline is shorter, maybe you need to move in just a couple of months, that's a great option because they're going to be done with it much sooner than a brand new build. So the fourth thing to keep in mind when you see a new build home is when it says starting from this price. That is the beginning point. That doesn't include any of the upgrades or the lot premium. So let's talk about lot premiums for a second. What is that? That means that for certain lots within the community, maybe it doesn't have a rear neighbor, maybe it's a corner lot, maybe it has an excellent view, the builder is actually going to tack on an extra charge. Can be anywhere from $5,000. The most expensive lot premiums that I've ever seen actually go all the way up to almost $500,000. So you got to be aware that that is an issue. So if you find this beautiful lot that maybe has a view of a lake or something like that, be prepared to pay for it because it is going to be super expensive in some of these lake communities. They're really proud of those things and they're going to tack those lot premiums on. That's just going to really push the price of the home up. And when you go through a model home, you have to keep in mind that those things are upgraded tremendously. Nearly everything you see in there is probably going to be an upgrade, from the flooring to the counters to the cabinets, even some of the color schemes. Those are all extra charges. They stuff a lot of extra cabinets in those things. They are beautiful. So just keep in mind that a lot of those things that you see are gonna really push the price of that home up. So a good rule for upgrades is to keep about 25% of the base price of the home reserved for your upgrade. So when you're going through the process of a new build, you're gonna go to the Builder's Design Center. That's where you're gonna pick out everything, the cabinets, the colors, the hardware that go on those cabinets, the faucets, the door pulls. Every single thing that you could ever think of is going to be done at the Design Center. And that price can really balloon if you're trying to make the home look like the model. So just keep that in mind. You're going to need a minimum 25% of the base price of the home to be applied towards upgrades at that Design Center meeting. Another thing that some people don't realize is that the homes don't come landscaped at all. So nothing in the front, nothing in the back. There are some exceptions to that. I've seen a few builders offering front yard landscaping and even a few lately that are offering some basic packages for rear landscaping, which never used to be the case at all. But as far as like getting a pool or a pergola or any of those fancy things that you'll see in the model homes, forget about that because that's gonna 100% be on you. So it's a bit of a mixed bag because you do get to make the backyard exactly what you want, which is great, but of course then you have to pay for it. So just be prepared when they deliver that home to you, it is gonna be nothing but a bare patch of dirt, usually in the front and the back. Sometimes they'll put some gravel in, but a lot of times they don't even do that. So landscaping, make sure that you're contacting a company to get quotes and bids for things that you're gonna want, from trees and plants to pools. All that stuff is gonna have to be factored in when you're talking about the price of your new build home. Okay, and the final thing to know about the process of a new build home is the timeline varies tremendously by builder. So a lot of times we figure it's usually gonna be about a 12-month process for a new build. However, lately I've heard a lot of builders kind of going back to some of those pre-pandemic numbers, which is usually in the 6 to 10 month range. That may be possible. I haven't seen anybody hit that target quite yet, but that is what I'm being told by some of the builders that they are now able to complete a home in. Some of the high-end builders, like your Toll Brothers, you're still gonna be looking potentially up to 14 months for them is what I often hear quoted when I'm there with clients. So it's gonna be a super wide range. So just be prepared for that. Another question to make sure that we get clarified right up front. That way there isn't a false expectation of being able to move in sooner than you would expect. So all the builders are gonna have various timelines if you're going the brand new route. Now, if you're going a spec home, they are gonna usually have an estimated completion date. But again, that number is pretty fluid. They'll say maybe ready by July. Well, I just looked at one, it's June right now, that's supposed to be ready by July, and they're gonna have to really make some quick work on it because it doesn't look like it's gonna be anywhere near that, more likely August or September. So keep in mind the timelines with the builders are very fluid. So just make sure you've got a little bit of flexibility built in, some contingent plans just in case it doesn't work out, maybe an Airbnb that you can keep for a little bit while you're waiting for your new build home to be done. And that'll prevent you from kind of running into some issues if and possibly when the builder doesn't exactly meet their timeline. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're going through the process of considering a new build. It can be really fun, it can be an exciting time, but it's also super overwhelming just due to the amount of choices that you have to make, the length of time that it takes to do it. just make sure that you're mentally prepared for that. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Please give me a like and subscribe to the channel if this is the kind of content that you find valuable. If you are thinking about moving to Arizona, I have some free Arizona relocation guides down below in the description, along with my AZ Dream Home Questionnaire. So if you're considering a move to the Valley, Phoenix is massive. There's 5 million people in this metro area and a ton of different areas for you to call home. If you're not sure which one is best for you, make sure you fill that thing out, because I'm gonna get some great feedback based on your responses, and I can make a much better recommendation to you based on what I hear from that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Really appreciate your support. I'll see you again very soon with another video.